Hello, I'm Charles E. Hall II. This is Shaka Bradley, and you're live in the Sports Zone. Coming up, the Patriots survive. Baylor lost, and Ronda Rousey wears one. But first, we got to talk about them Skins, because you know what happened yesterday? As they quote in the good old Coming to America, "Behold, Simi," something we've been at far too long. It was a running game at a Redskin game yesterday. That's been under witness protection control for the longest. Though no one has seen them at all with a running game, and they use it to wear out the Saints 47-14, along with a dynamite performance from Kirk Cousins. I don't care what you say. Kirk had a great game, 4 TD passes. He had strong numbers. What is this here? It's 324 yards, but forget that. The running games will caught my eye. Matt Jones. Even Alfred Morris was seen. He was under witness protection control for the longest. I mean, he ain't been seen from nobody. Your take on the Skins, man?
The one thing we forgot to mention is the defense. As far as I'm concerned, the defense was the biggest story of the game.
They strapped up.
Because coming into this game, the Saints were throwing the ball, doing anything they wanted, the number one offense. To hold the Saints to 14 points, that's the bigger surprise and the biggest factor, I think, in the game yesterday. We did get the return of the running game. Kirk did have a perfect QB rating and all of that stuff. But if we really ask me what was the true factor,
that's true.
The true surprise, was that defense.
I was flat out surprised. I was stunned that because the first quarter was nip and tuck, back and forth. It was like it was right. It was going to be 40-40, what it looked like it was going to be.
Exactly.
I could not believe that y'all actually got a couple of stops and then y'all just took off on them. And that was a statement win for this game. I mean, granted, the Saints have not played well this year. We both picked the Saints last week, but the fact is Drew Brees is still an NFL star quarterback, and y'all held him down. I mean, that was a great win. But, again, to me, let alone the defense, the running game came back to life. They showed something, just running the ball consistently with Alfred Morris and coming right back with Matt Jones. They even got Chris Thompson in their mode. And even fullback got a couple of carries. All in all, the Skins had a solid game, solid win. And they got some help because a rack of other teams in the division, everybody else lost. We'll discuss that coming up. I mean, overall, the Skins was a great day for them.
Yeah, I mean, when you win like that, it's not really a whole lot you can take away and try to hate on them and all that.
You take away that you got a good win if you're a Skin fan.
Yeah, I mean, you won. You won. You made yourself that much closer in the division race. You blew out a porous defensive team. You did what you're supposed to do with a defense that's not any good. I mean, everything was working, like you said. You can't take anything away from them. The running game was working, which opened up the passing game. They were able to do a little bit of everything and do kind of what they wanted, surprisingly. So, I mean, there's not a lot that you can take away from them, man. They won. They look good doing it. I'm not going to hate on them for that.
I hear that, man. A lot of talk about that was on the radio today and so forth. In the NFL period, I mean, think about it. Carolina's coming next week for the Skins. They won. Solid game for Cam Newton. Another strong game for him. A lot of solid running game. Then you got the Patriots. They barely survived against the Giants. If you're a Giants fan today, you are heated Odell Beckham's normally a man with great hands dropped a touchdown pass. Then you got that defensive back or linebacker, someone safety that he just dropped the interception. That would have sealed the win.
Yeah.
I mean Patriots, in typical Brady fashion, they got some time. He took down the field, boom, 50-some-odd yard field goal by the kicker who has not missed at all season. He could be an MVP candidate. Heck, Mark Mosley pulled it off in 82.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're taking the rest of the NFL going around the road.
I mean, teams are showing up, man. You had that. There was a war last night in Seattle.
Yes.
Arizona.
Fourth quarter-wise, it was a blowout early.
Yeah, Arizona, I have been down on them the last few weeks after being high on them earlier. Went into Seattle and put up 39 points, if I'm not mistaken.
That's rare.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strong performance.
Rare up in the Emerald City.
You had the Bengals coming up tonight. I mean, the Patriots and the Giants, you kind of expected that game, man. For whatever reason. The Giants, man. Yeah, the Giants, man, we don't know really how good they are, but they always play, It felt like it was one of those games that the Giants and the Patriots played in the past.
Well, here's something that caught my eye yesterday. Green Bay lost for the third time in a row. And you know what's out there right now? What's being thrown out there is the curse of Ditka. They're saying since that commercial has aired, the McDonald's commercial has aired with Ditka in the Green Bay sweater, they have lost every game since that commercial has aired. Me personally, I've seen Jerry Rice rocking a Cowboy jersey, and they've lost every game long before that commercial aired. But they're calling it the curse of the Dictas right now. I mean, what is your take on Green Bay? What is the
curse
issue?
of Aaron Rodgers, man? All these Golden Boy quarterbacks not looking too sweet right now. You know, I mean, hey man, the receiving core don't look as strong. They're not looking that good right now.
But Brady don't have a great receiving core.
Well,
Cam, you can't name any receiver on Cam's team.
Brady is Brady, man. I don't think you can. You know, it's funny. You can't put all these other guys in Brady's class, man. I don't care how many.
I'm with you. Brady's my favorite quarterback in the league. I think he's the best. I agree with you. But a lot of folks will say Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league. A lot of folks say that.
When he's front running, when he's rolling, he
does look good when he's rolling, right?
But when he's losing, there's not a whole lot of titles behind all of that.
Oh, I agree with that.
So
I totally agree with you on that.
So it's not looking good for Green Bay right now. They're struggling.
But not just Green Bay, in Denver, Peyton Manning. I mean, he broke the passing record. He broke Brett Favre's most career passing yard record, and then he went out there and got benched, throwing 4 interceptions. But we got word that he's injured. He's got plantar fasciitis.
Allegedly.
He's also got some bruised ribs, and he's got a bad back, they're saying.
And bruised ego and changed the offense on him and all that stuff. It's about that time for Peyton, man.
What the time for what?
Go ahead on and turn out the lights and call it a career, man.
No. Get ready to bring this other guy in at quarterback.
Get ready to be somebody's offensive coordinator.
Manning will be back before the season is out and get about now. Granted, at 7-2, you got Oakland kind of trying to chase him. I think they should win a division, I believe.
I think they'll still win a division.
San Diego's still struggling. I don't think Oakland and KC don't have enough, so they'll win a division. But they are Peyton there in the end. I mean, look, it has been proven when he's had rest, what he did when he had rest. He gave it to Green Bay when he had some rest.
How good is Green Bay now? I mean, we got Green Bay getting wore out at home by folks now.
Hey, man, I mean,
Denver might be in a little bit of trouble if they got to rely on Brock.
I agree.
I
agree.
They're gonna win the division by default
because they've already had some guys down. You already look. The defense is missing 3 guys almost, and now they're going with the youngster. But they're trying to say he didn't do too bad. I'm like, what did he do well? Personally, he didn't do anything that raised the eyebrows. But you never know. I mean, it's going to be tough for them in the coming weeks. Because you got to find a backup also, just in case he's one player away from getting injured.
Right. To
find a backup that's going to know that offense. And remember, Matt Schaub is in the league somewhere playing with somebody. All the guys that came under that QBX system are all somewhere else playing. I mean, unless you're going to call up, I don't know, John Elway himself to come down and run the offense.
Maybe John Elway got an illegitimate son somewhere who can play quarterback.
That's hilarious. Folks, when we come back, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to jump on this college football, talk a little college basketball, and some NBA after a quick message.
This neighborhood sure has changed in my lifetime. You know, there was a time when people like me couldn't live here because of their race or the color of their skin. I'll never forget how I felt being told I wasn't welcome in this neighborhood, that this apartment was for whites only. That got better over time, but some people still didn't get equal treatment when it came to finding a home.
No, there's no apartment here for you.
Well, I own this building now. The Fair Housing Act made a difference for someone like me. It gives us the opportunity to live in communities of our choice, free from discrimination. The Fair Housing Act makes it illegal to discriminate in the renting or selling of a home because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, or disability. Know your rights. If you believe you have experienced housing discrimination, contact HUD.
Welcome back, folks. We're here in the Sports Zone talking a little college football this past weekend. All the Big Four survived. Well, majority of them at least. I mean, Clemson survived. They had a tough scare with Syracuse. Alabama cruised and crushed Mississippi State. Notre Dame and Ohio State, they did their thing 28-7 to their opponents. The Big 12, Oklahoma beat Baylor in the big game of the day, 44-34. They had a nice lead majority of the game. Was anything that caught your eye this weekend that made you say,
You know, not really, man. This was kind of a tread water type of thing. Other than Oklahoma,
And Oklahoma State won also.
Yeah, I think the Big 12 they might kill themselves
out. Yeah, I think they will. It's going to look good on paper with the games coming up, but somebody's going to be like, when the other colleges are going to say, well, hold up, this team got 3 losses, 2 losses.
Yeah.
When in reality, they probably are some tough teams, but it's going to look on paper like maybe that conference ain't that good because they're waiting to the end.
Yeah, they backloading these schedules, and it's kind of hurting them.
But they did that because they were almost left out last year. They were like, how can Baylor be left out and so forth?
Yeah, they did get cheated. TCU got cheated last year.
That's where that comes from. I mean, I'll ask this: what's the top 4 teams right now?
Man, as much as I don't agree with Alabama being in, they're looking like they're rolling right now. So I'm gonna go with the status quo.
Why don't you agree with them?
I mean, you already lost. Well, what are you doing in there?
I mean, all these teams basically lost.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be some teams with 1 losses in there. I think, they want an SEC team in regardless.
Yep, they sure do.
But looking at how Alabama's been rolling on folks now, they looking like they're coming together. The running back is rolling. There was some questions about the quarterback position, but they kind of been putting it together as of late. So I'm Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Alabama. I'm kind of rolling with them right now.
Now, the question I had. Okay, let me give you my 4 is the same. That's my 4. That's my 4. The question here is: does anyone have a chance to up out, like, let's say Alabama, Notre Dame? They have 1 loss. Like Oklahoma, for example, has 1 loss. They went out. I mean, they would beat TCU. They just beat Baylor, and they would beat Oklahoma State on the way out. Oklahoma plays TCU this weekend. If they rolled out the next week, you don't think having those powerful 3 wins in a row gets momentum over, let's say, Notre Dame?
Well, it depends on how strong people view TCU. Or, the remain. Oklahoma State is the
TCU has team. 1 loss.
Yeah,
we discussed that, granted, but that's the point the Big 12 may be thinking.
Yeah, I mean,
depending on who wins. Now, if Oklahoma State wins out, they're undefeated. They gotta have this spot. There's no way in the world.
Well, we thought that last year, but that didn't turn out.
That was Baylor. Okay. Oklahoma State isn't Baylor. They are like a more realistic Big 12 team, a Big 8 team from back in the day. I don't think they're gonna get left out. They run the table.
It'll be hard. Again, if you're in a so-called major conference, if they run a table in the Big 12, they probably should be.
I mean, now, on the other hand,
is the operative word.
Notre Dame's probably thinking, well, we lost to Clemson by a 2-point conversion, so they're the best team in America. I can see their argument there, but now they get ready to play a Stanford team that's lost 2 games, and that's not a guaranteed win either, folks.
No, it's not.
That will not be a guarantee
No.
in that game coming up, maybe the last game of the season. I mean, does Carolina have a chance in the end? I mean, if they win out, they have a tough VTech team this weekend, and if they win, they'll take on Clemson in the ACC championship. Would the 1-loss Tar Heel team have a chance?
I don't know if the Tar Heels have enough, and I've seen them play a few times. I like them. I like their quarterback. I don't know if they have the body of work that's going to propel them upwards, even if they do win out and beat Clemson. I just don't know that they're going to have the cachet, 1.
Well,
and 2.
How about this? Here's something I haven't thought about. What if Michigan State beats Ohio State this weekend? And Michigan State thwarts themselves. They got 1 loss, right?
Yeah, they lost on a special teams
right.
play.
So they had. Let's say they went out and they beat Ohio State this weekend. They went out. Ohio State is saying they lost to Michigan State. Will they be left out with 1 loss? Here's what it comes down to. Is Notre Dame's brand that strong with that ACC somewhat loaded schedule they have, stronger than the defending champion coming out of a Big 10 conference?
That's a good question, man. I mean, personally, if I had to choose, if you got a 1-loss Ohio State and a 1-loss Notre Dame, blasphemous for me, but I'm still taking Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame's players. I like what they do.
You only say because you like the uniform color, the gold helmet and the gold shoes. That's the only reason why.
I like the quarterbacks. I like what they got out there, man.
Don't let this guy lie to you, folks.
They look good what they're doing. Ohio State hasn't looked as strong as Notre Dame has looked in some of their games.
Okay.
So if I got to choose one of those 2. And then the Big 10, just like the Big 12, if Michigan State is able to beat Ohio State.
So real quick, is the Big 10 better than the ACC? Now, granted, ACC got Carolina 1 loss. You got Florida State has 2, but and Clemson is undefeated, number 1 team in the land.
Overall, it might be a toss-up.
I mean, don't forget now, the Big Ten had Michigan in there.
Michigan was ranked high, but
you like them.
I wasn't that strong on what Michigan really was. See, that's the thing with these rankings, man. They just rank anybody anywhere, and then then you lose, and then you fall all out of to Bolivian, as Mike Tyson once said. So now, really, how good were you when you were initially ranked super high?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Let's change the subject a little bit. Let's go to this round ball a bit. The Washington Wizards, they're 4-4. Currently, had a tough, decent week. They were blasted by Oklahoma City on the return of KD. KD got hurt, but he only played a half and had a double-double. And they come back and they beat Orlando last night without Brad Beal. Solid performance from everybody. Even got some strong 20-something numbers from the Kardashian. I mean, he put up some numbers yesterday.
Yeah, Humphries made a few threes.
Yeah, Humphries, he put up some numbers. But how real is it? The Wizards this week, they got a short week. They got the Bucks tomorrow night. And then they come back Saturday with Detroit, Andre Drummond and his crew. Only 2 games again,
Man, I'm still trying to figure the Wizards out. Like, my expectations are a little high for them.
And right now, they're 11. If the season ended today, they'd be the 11th seed.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even make the playoffs.
That's sort of unacceptable, man. Like,
they're only 4-4, though.
Yeah, at this point, you're supposed to be one of those teams that are rolling, man. This isn't what you're supposed to be. 4-4. This is not for you. You've been to the semifinals.
And it's kind of early for that speech, though.
It is kind of early, but it's not.
I can see they were 14
Cleveland is not
14.
fooling around. Golden State's not fooling around. These real teams are not fooling around. So here you are treading water during this 4-4 mess, losing to getting blown out to Boston, getting blown out. Getting blown out is unacceptable anyway.
Yes.
And now you're supposed to be wanting to be one of the top 4 teams. You want to get to the conference finals, and then you running out of here with 4-4.
I'm telling you, the East has upgraded slightly.
It has.
Folks don't want to believe that, but the East has really upgraded. And do not sleep on the Bucks tomorrow night. Those young dudes are going to play tough. The Wizards should win.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a tough. Well, then again, I don't know because they don't have Brad Beal.
Well, if Beal is not playing, that's going to be a tough.
That's not a guaranteed win.
A tough road to hoe. But my expectations, man, I grew up on Jordan and Magic and Bird on teams. Detroit, real teams do real things.
I tell you what, buddy, that era ain't coming back. These dudes were not made the way. These young dudes are not.
Nah, they don't have. They not cut from that cloth. So
What you see out of Kobe Bryant, he one of the last few giving you that. Him and Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
They the last few giving you that solid work like that. LeBron tough, but he still ain't from that cloth, man. Them dudes got titles on their own, man. Only start that LeBron talk with me, man. LeBron had to go and get his titles.
All the good teams had multiple players.
He had to go with Wade to get his titles, man.
All the good teams had multiple.
They didn't go.
All-star players.
Tim Duncan did not roll anywhere to go get his title.
He had to get. Tim
Duncan. He didn't go anywhere.
He just got lucky to be drafted to the team that David Robinson played on.
These teams didn't go anywhere, man. I like LeBron. Don't get me wrong. He put up the stat sheet. I love LeBron, but I'm keeping it honest. That dude, he's gone 4 times. No, he's gone 5 times.
The man, you can't front on that dude.
He's gone 5 times.
They did stack the deck,
but he's had to go to get it.
Well, he didn't have to.
He had to go somewhere to get it.
They just chose to go and do it.
Okay.
He's the AAU style guy, man. He wants to be fun.
That's why I said, folks, you better enjoy what you're getting out of Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. Those guys, they aren't being made like that anymore.
No, they're not.
Well, I got you here. Here's a question that was brought in. This was an email possible one. I said I would do it on the air. Who do you think will get rid of their 0 first? Golden State at 11-0, or the Philadelphia Sixers at 0-10. This week alone, the Warriors have the Raptors at home on Tuesday. They got the Clippers on Thursday on the road. They host the Bulls on Friday, back-to-back game. Then they come back on Sunday with Denver at Denver. Philly, on the other hand, they got the Mavs on Monday tonight, at Pacers on Wednesday. Those are 2 home games. Then they go on the road Friday, taking on Charlotte, and then down on the road in the Heat. Who's going to get that 0 first?
At this point, I'm not going against Golden State, man. I'd say Philly can try to sneak a win. Scrub team sneak a win some kind of way from somebody, more so than a good team losing. Golden State's on the road, man. They might challenge that 72 mark.
They may lose twice this week, though.
They might. It's
I mean,
possible.
back-to-back game, only because it's back-to-back.
It's possible.
They
but
liable not to, but they could.
I'm not gonna pick against them just yet.
Oh, okay.
Till I see them
That's a
actually.
hint,
lose.
folks. That's a hint coming up. That's very interesting. Folks, when we come back, we're going to discuss some other stuff coming at you, some more basketball talk. College basketball is coming. Big rivalry game coming down the wire in the good old Beltway. Warriors and Terps after this quick message.
It's from a place of love that I became an activist. It is just a fabulous area, full of life. It's one of the few areas of temperate old-growth forest left on the planet. In the early 90s, it looked like all of the intact forest would be clear-cut logged, and it was very devastating to think of that possibility. So it was quite a pivotal time right then to take action when we did.
1/3 of the massive Great Bear Rainforest will now be protected from all logging. We're talking about an area the size of Switzerland.
Having the Great Bear Rainforest protected now really means a lot to our community. I would say we're part of the environment just like the animals are. The greatest thing that I enjoy is seeing a total stranger respect this area. We're hoping that years down the line, this place will still be looking the same as it does right now.
Welcome back, folks. We're going to pick some games right now. Last week, Shaka went 4-6 with his record going to 31-23. I went 5-5, improving to 28-22. This week, we got a couple of them. We're going to start off with the NBA. We're going to run these down quickly. The Bucks at the Wizards. Big game for both. Wizards form. We just discussed that. I know where you're leaning at.
Yeah, I mean, if Bill's not playing, I don't know if the Wizards have enough, if they're going to give you the effort and the energy to continue.
Wizards get my vote. They should still win it at home. They should still win. This is where we show this Otto Porter pick and just step up and play some ball.
Well,
you were a dynamite. What was he? Top 3 pick?
Number 3, yeah.
Yeah, you got to step up and play. Wall, your number 1 pick. You got to step up and play. So I'm with the Wizards at home. I still think they're better to get the job done. Thursday night basketball. The Warriors at the Clippers. It's the second time they played. The first time was in Golden State. Clippers lost 112-108. And they had a lead with about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter before they gave it up. Your take?
I'm taking Golden State, man. The Clippers is one of those. The Clippers is the biggest tease in this team in the NBA, man. They don't. If you really look at them,
big tease, he calls them.
They lack a legitimate scorer at the 2 guard. They don't have a 2 guard. I mean,
they got enough action going on. They got Redick. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Redick is a beast. I'm saying he gives them a shooter on a squad that don't really have that much shooting.
Yeah, but like their best players are alley-oop catchers, and CP can't do it all by himself. So they don't have enough, I think.
I'm taking the Clippers.
Yeah,
I think this game is going to be a get-back game, and they're at home. Because they had them the last game. And really, I felt Doc messed up by putting the starters back in. The bench did it. Jamal Crawford and his son and Josh Smith, them guys ones that brought them back. They were up 10. Next thing they put the starters back in. The league got evaporated. And then Curry hit a couple of threes with no defense in his face. I hope they learned their lesson from the last game and put a hand up.
Nobody in the league apparently has learned their lesson.
Hey, don't get me started on that, man. Moving down one, some big games in college basketball this week. Number 2 Kentucky takes on number 5 Duke. Duke with their best freshman class they've had in a while. And they've even got another one coming next year, even better than that. But this year they're led by Brandon Ingram, do-it-all freshman, going up against Kentucky with the 6'11" Scout of Bassier. That dude, I saw him have some highlights. He can do it, but Kentucky has a loaded mob. What do you like in this one? It's games in Chicago.
That's going to be interesting. I saw a little bit of highlights of both of those freshmen you were talking about. They both seem like they can get some things done. I'm never going to pick Duke. I don't care. If somebody told me it saved my life, I probably wouldn't pick Duke.
Wow. Got a little grudge against them, I see.
So I'm going to pick Kentucky on that one. I liked what I saw of the freshmen that Kentucky has.
I'm going to choose Duke on this one. I like Seth Grayson. He played ball in the championship game last year. He was the saving grace for Duke in that game. He looked good the other night, one of their games. He was their leading scorer. So I'm going to choose the Blue Devils along with this freshman sensation. The other game along the Beltway, one we may see every blue moon, but the Warriors of Georgetown travel over to Carter's Park to take on number 3 Maryland, who are loaded this year. Melo Trimble leads a mob that comes in with a big freshman, Diamond Stone. And then you factor in the transfer in Rasheem Suleiman. He's coming in. But the Warriors lost a tough one at home, double overtime to Radford. Everybody kept saying, I saw that game on a replay. It wasn't as bad as everybody thought. It was a nip and tuck game with Radford, but it wasn't like, oh wow, they got blasted. They should have won that game. But the Warriors frustrated me watching. I'm like, wow, this is how y'all lost? Your take.
But see, this is the thing with Georgetown, man. Like, why are you even in a nip and tuck game with Radford at this point? At this point in the season, this is when folks are getting warmed up, blowing folks out.
Hey, man, Radford wasn't no slouch.
Why are you in a tough game with Radford, your first game of the year? That makes no sense. Watching Maryland, they didn't mess around with it. Maryland is loaded. They big, long. You got Stone. You got man. I like what Maryland's going to be able to do this year. I don't know what Georgetown comes to do. I'm taking Maryland.
I want to pick Maryland, but since I need to come back in the rankings, I got to go against you at some point. I'm taking the Warriors. Not just that. I like Dante Smith-Rivera. I think he can get the job done. Devontae can shoot that rock. And they got the freshman guy. I saw him up there. He looked pretty decent. He got a couple of rebounds and impressed me with some putbacks. I'm going to take the Warriors only because I know I need to catch up. I keep picking the same teams. It's not going to work. I won't be able to catch you. But Maryland folks are loaded.
Yeah.
They are loaded.
Yeah.
On down to the gridiron. College football has tons of games on Saturday, folks. And them 2 games we just talked about, those were Tuesday night. This week, if you don't go anywhere, you got some action to sit up on your couch and get it down. Because Saturday, starting off, Memphis, number 21, 8-2, takes on number 22, Temple up in Philadelphia. Who you like?
You know what, man? I saw Memphis in a tough one the other day.
They sold out against Houston in them.
Well,
1 point loss.
I'm always curious about these teams that get hyped up a little bit. I'm going to take
They got
Temple.
a good quarterback.
Yeah, they do have a quarterback that's a huge NFL prospect. But I'm going to go with Temple just for the simple fact that that's my little sister's alma mater, and they've been playing good ball.
Temple looked good against Notre Dame, but I'm still taking Memphis. I like the quarterback. He plays good ball. I'm taking him. I'm choosing Memphis on that. UCLA, number 19, had a tough loss. Takes on number 10, Utah, in the Pac-12 action. Who you like?
Yeah, I'm going with Utah. I was high on Utah earlier in the year. They kind of fell off a little bit. UCLA, that's another one of those teaser teams.
And I got a funny feeling if I pick pick against them, they're going to win. I'm so close to saying I'm going with Utah, and it would be my luck. Jim Moore gets them guys to play solid ball. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick UCLA like an idiot probably. I'll probably regret that. I'm going to take UCLA in that one. Number 18, Northwestern, takes from number 25, Wisconsin. I saw Wisconsin live last week at the Maryland homecoming game. Wasn't that impressed, but they didn't have to beat Maryland for whatever it's worth. But they now in the top 25.
That's not that hard to do these days.
Who you liking that?
Yeah, I'm taking Northwestern. Northwestern been playing solid ball all year. It just seems like, even though Wisconsin is ranked, it doesn't seem like it's your typical Wisconsin team.
I was not that impressed with them.
Strong Wisconsin team, so I'm taking Northwestern on that one.
You and me both. I'm taking Northwestern as well. Number 13, Michigan State, taking on number 3, Ohio State in the Horseshoe. Big Big Ten game here. Big game.
I'm going Ohio State. Michigan State hasn't really impressed me at all. They've been kind of squeaking through. They should have lost to Michigan. So, yeah, they should have lost to, I believe it was Indiana. They've been squeaking through. So I'm taking Ohio State, even though Ohio State hasn't been necessarily playing spectacularly this year. I still think, at home in the shoe, they'll be better than Michigan State.
The cynic in me has always said if my team is out, I'm hardcore rooting for controversy. But, and I know this game, a loss right here for Ohio State will make it big time controversy because Michigan State can now say, he went out and so forth. But I'm taking Ohio State. I think they're the better team. But I would not be mad if Michigan State won because, like I said, I want controversy. Even though we do got a playoff system now, I want it all to be jumbled up and like I said, pick your squads. Number 15, TCU. At number 12, Oklahoma State. I'm sorry, Oklahoma.
TCU disappointed me. I was rooting hard for them, especially since they got cheated last year.
Yeah.
And then they go out and lose, and that's kind of turned me off to them. And I believe the quarterback VIKINGS is hurt.
And the Sooners are rolling right now.
Yeah, Oklahoma
Sooners
is
are
rolling after losing to the Charlie
Texas.
Strong.
Yeah.
Save my job game.
That's exactly what that was.
They've
I almost
been
wanted
rolling.
to give them that win somewhat.
Well,
Makes you
they've
wonder.
been rolling. They looked pretty good against Baylor this week, the other day. So I'm gonna take Oklahoma, man, on this one.
I'm taking Oklahoma as well. The Sooners have been playing some good ball. If VIKINGS was playing, I would take TCU, but I'm not sure if he's playing either. I don't have a guaranteed answer on that.
Yeah.
Baylor, number 6. At number 8, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State undefeated. And now Baylor team comes calling after a tough loss. Big 12 will have the games the rest of the year, but what do we have here?
Yeah, I mean, this is where you're gonna kill each other and knock each other off.
Yep.
Oklahoma State, they play a little bit of defense when the other teams in the conference are strong offense. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State on this one, man. Baylor, without the starting quarterback, they're not as strong as what they were.
I'm riding with Oklahoma State.
Running that
I'm
machine.
taking the Cowboys in this one. I think they're at home. They've got a lot going on, and they're all looking forward to that game next week against Oklahoma and Bedlam. That's going to be one for the books. I think.
That could be a trap,
Yeah, there's no. If you're a Big 12 team for the next 3 weeks, none of these games are traps. I'm telling you that right now, buddy. TCU, Baylor are not trap games. Those are, you better strap it up and be ready games.
Yeah.
Ain't no traps here. It's a lot of games to look forward to. No. You better not look past these squads here, because these two teams still think they can get there.
Yeah, I don't know how, but
They went out. One loss, they say up coming out of the Big 12, they went out, they in there.
I don't think if the Big 12 isn't undefeated, they can forget it. They can forget
I mean,
it.
is the Big 12 better than the ACC?
Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
So, a one-loss Notre Dame team. Granted, I know the brand. Well, forget that. I know the answer is going to be for you. I know your answer. NFL style. Redskins at the Panthers. Who you liking that?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to pick against the home team, but, I'm not a fool. They look good against the Saints this week, but the Saints play absolutely zero defense. They're going to get the defensive coordinator fired, so it's the Carolina.
They did get fired.
Yeah, so Carolina's one of the best teams in the league, one of the best defenses. We got my birthday, say Killer Cam. I'm riding with the Panthers. Shout out to Aunt Connie, she love, and Mr. Jim down there in Charlotte with them Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers. Ain't no doubt about that. I know what I saw yesterday, that game was a solid effort from Skins. Forget solid, it was a strong effort. Very good win.
Yeah.
But the Panthers are a team that they just keep it moving. Nothing's fancy. I mean, they take Cam out the shotgun and run him like a fullback. Just straight quarterback lead, man. No lead blocker, just straight lead for the quarterback.
That's a big dude, man.
Packers at the Vikings. This is an interesting game here. Your take?
It's another one of those quarterbacks I got my eye on. I told you I'm rolling with my boys. So Teddy B, and the Vikings, they in first place now. I'm going with the Vikings on this one. I think Green Bay right now they're not looking good. They're in a tough stretch. So I'm taking Teddy B and the Vikings.
My heart flat out says I'm rolling with my man Adrian Peterson and Ted. My heart says that off the break. I mean, in front of the camera, behind the camera. But my brain says Green Bay is not going to lose 4 in a row.
Based
My
on
brain
what?
says that Aaron Rodgers is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He's going to win this game. He's going to get something done. How, I don't know, but he's going to win this game.
He gonna need to, or they're gonna be in trouble in that division.
Oh, if he loses this game, they might not make it.
Yeah.
They might not make it if he loses. But then again, they only got 3. This will be their 4th. It'll be their 3rd loss. Now, that'd be all right. They
Yeah,
probably still
man.
get there, but a loss here will be tough because that'll open it up for everybody else. And the last game of the night, the Bengals at Arizona.
That's
The
a
Cardinals 7-2.
That's a big one. These are two teams, that I kind of been high on a little bit. I fell off a little bit on Arizona after they lost a couple. But that game against Seattle, man, that was a strong performance. This is a big game here. This one I'm not really sure, man. I'm going to go with the undefeated team. Well, they may not be undefeated after the night. We're not sure. If I got to go, man, seeing what they did in Seattle last night, man, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Arizona going to take that one.
I'm going to go against that. I'm going to tell you why. Because I think they're going to lose tonight. So I think they're going to come back ready next week against the Bengals. Against the Cardinals. So I'm taking the Bengals in that one. I'm pulling for the Bengals hard on that. I think the Bengals will win that one. Folks, we're going to take a quick message. When we come back, we got some emails. And this one comes from a different realm of a sport of another kind that shocked all the world this past weekend. After a quick message.
I am Sammy. Last year I found out that I have high cholesterol.
I'm Sammy's dad. Due to my high cholesterol, I had quadruple bypass surgery at age 37. I later learned I probably had high cholesterol since childhood because I have an inherited form of the disease known as familial hypercholesterolemia, or FH. FH affects more than 600,000 Americans. I passed FH to Sammy, but not to Alyssa.
Luckily, I was diagnosed early.
Now we can take steps to manage Sammy's condition with diet, exercise, and medication, so we reduce the long-term damage of the disease. Unlike most other genetic diseases, FH is treatable, and it's best if it's caught early. If high cholesterol runs in your family, see a doctor and get screened. The earlier you know, the earlier you can tackle it, together. For more information, visit www.learnyourlipids.com.
Welcome back, folks. This message here comes from Rhonda from Fort Washington, and her question is, what was your take on the loss for Ronda Rousey losing to Holmes this past weekend? Did it shock you? Were you happy? Before I respond, I'll come to you first. Because I know what I was like.
Well, you know what, man? I hate to come across, it feels a little punk to take some joy in watching a woman lose. But I'm not going to lie, man. To see her get mopped the way she did, I was happy about that, man.
She looks arrogant for you, huh?
Yeah, it was just something about her, man. And she, no disrespect to her, she was excellent at what she does.
Do you think? I'm going to ask that question
but
on TV.
I just wasn't a fan of some of her antics, man. And to see her get knocked the bleep out.
We know the boxing world was happy. Guys like Floyd and all them folks were loving the fact. And yeah, I even saw where Ali took a shot at her. Layla was like, if you're the best in, not really a shot at her, but basically made a statement though. If you're the best in the world at what you do, you don't lose in your prime. But here's my question. They're slicing her as the best in the world. She only won 12 matches. I mean,
yeah, see, that's part of
more than 12 to be mentioned like those other folks.
Yeah, that's part of the whole thing of why I was so happy to see her lose, man, because it's just one of these things where you propping somebody up. Granted, she was crushing.
Oh, she's a beast now.
She was crushing.
But she wore one
over
and over
to a more skilled person.
Yes.
If you don't have the body of work just yet, you probably need to be a little less arrogant. You speaking out on things, on folks that not in your sport. You talking about you can beat men and all this foolishness.
Real quick, then a rematch. Who you like?
Well, I mean, listen. That other Holmes is skilled. Her skills not going nowhere.
Throw the hands, man.
Ronda Rousey's not about to get any newfound boxing skills all of a sudden. It's gonna be like Tyson Holyfield. Well, my man crushed Tyson with those skills that I knew he could. So I mean, I expect
a particular set of skills.
I expect the same thing, man.
All right, I hear that. Real quick before we go, folks, I gotta give big time love to our District Heights Boys and Girls Club. Folks, the 6U, the 8U, and the 12U brought home the championship to District Heights. They won on the GMYFL, the Greater Metropolitan Youth Football League. They all won, and they're now playing in a big Super Bowl matchup this weekend. When I get more word, we'll definitely let everyone know about it. Folks, always tune in each and every day at 4:30, Channel 25 on Verizon Channel 71 for District Heights. And for me, my man Shaka Bradley, we'll catch you again right back here in the Sports Zone.